What is up, guys? It's Coop with C&T Designs and Arms again. We're going back to another video for another gun control bill. Let's see, I've already got this recording. Let's go ahead and I'm going to drop some stuff off of my screen real quick. This video is about the iron pipeline. And if you believe anything in this bill, you have to be smoking one of Joe Biden's government provided crack pipes. You literally have to be smoking crack. So maybe that's why he's handing out crack pipes, because he wants everybody to believe the bills and stuff these Democrats are putting forth right now. That's just my theory. I was not planning on being up this late. I blame the safety doc because he had a good show tonight, and I was sitting around goofing off with everybody and listening to him. Oh, come on, hold on. Let me stop that share because I think I forgot something. Let me go back here. Let's go to share. Yeah, there we go. I've got the share sound. Because what we're going to do for just a minute in this video is listen to some track, or part of a track from my man Eric July. Let me show this. I'm sharing my screen. Let me drop this out. And if you haven't listened to Eric July before, or backwards, you need to. They've got some, he does some really good music. If you go over to Bandcamp and you look up Rap Circle, Eric July's music on here, he put this mixtape together, and I heard him talk about it on one of his shows. You can get these songs for free and use them in your videos. Eric set this up to where it was just a free thing for people that were following him, people that wanted to use his music. It's just freaking kick-ass. So that's why I get the music that hopefully I'm going to put in the background of more of my videos, because he's got an entire mixtape in here. All of them are killer songs. So let me drop that out. And if you hear me kind of buzzing, it's cold in this freaking room. So we're going to kick this for just a second. Well, hopefully this comes through in the mute or in the video. Not, you're just going to see me
sheeple, lazy and evil. For years I've watched y'all allow Donald Trump turn you to crazy people. Where's that freedom eagle when you must need them? You bugging like beetles and lining up gleeful sticking needles in. 2020 was the year that y'all were losing it. Watching smart people I respect turning to lunatics. The rational became irrational. The avenue we travel through will have a few kickbacks will hassle you.
Yes.
Y'all fools so short-sighted, of course you write it. Shut it down, print money, you should be indicted. What you are doing is criminal. And been a fool, the end of you is gonna be the end of you, and your institute is crooked. Fools claiming I hate the police. Too stupid to understand that they are what they eat. Control freaks that'll use their own homies to seek power and then put them on the wall in a week. This industry is full of followers that holler when it's time to make a dollar, and positions that they wallow in a shallow, and they don't understand half the.
Alright, so we're gonna turn it down. Let's get to the bill. I think I got that down far enough it won't completely just overrun me. So, getting into this. Oh man, this is another just. It's a bill. Let's put it that way. So, this was introduced on 3/16/21. Of course, 117th Congress, which is where we're at right now. To provide for the establishment of a national standard for incorporating a passive identification ability into all firearms sold in the United States, and to require the reporting of lost or stolen firearms to the appropriate law enforcement agencies. Let's see. Yeah, this jackass. Alright, let's see. So the short title of this was the Stopping the Iron Pipeline Act. Man, I can't even go there right now. Alright, in general, the Attorney General shall, in consultation with the National Institute for Standards and Technology, They want to regulate firearms under the National Institute for Standards and Technology, along with the Consumer Product Bureau and all the other crap, to establish regulations. To establish in regulations a national standard for the incorporation of a passive identification capability into all firearms in the United States. Most I can figure this would be like something similar to RF technology that would have to be incorporated into every firearm sold in the United States, is where this bill is going. So, getting into passive identification capability defined. The term, excuse me, passive identification capability means a technology. Now, this is where we get into some Minority Report shit. All right. Enables a firearm to be identified by a mobile or fixed reading device. So this could be a police officer walking around with this device in a crowd, and it's searching for signals from firearms. And ping, it finds one on somebody. Well, he's got to go find that person and then search him and do whatever. Or this could be reading devices that are posted around to where I'm just walking down the street and all of a sudden I ping this device, and that device actually alerts the police that, hey, this person has a firearm. Now, at that time, I'm not committing any crimes. I just merely have a firearm on me. Something like this that I carry every day. This would have this technology in it. So I walk down the street. I'm just going from one business to another. I'm walking around a strip mall. All of a sudden, this thing's pinging towers or pinging freaking sensors saying, oh, this guy's got a gun. How long do you think it would take a criminal to come up with a device to read that very thing so he could walk around a crowd and see who was armed and who wasn't armed? So he could either target that armed person to take their firearm, or he would know from a distance, well, maybe I shouldn't do something here because I am going to meet some armed resistance. That would be best case scenario in this situation. Oh, man. Alright, let's see. Enables firearm to be identified from a mobile or fixed reading device. B, does not admit a broadcast or an electronic signal or other information that would enable the firearm or its owner to be monitored or tracked. Now, if we're talking in the previous sentence in here where we're talking about fixed reading devices, I could definitely be tracked by those. Who's going to be reading those fixed devices where I'm walking, like I said, through a strip mall and all of a sudden I'm pinging these devices and they're reading that my firearm is present? Where is it going to send that information? To fucking Santa Claus? All right, considerations. In developing standards, the Attorney General shall give equal priority to the following. And this is where you know they're full of shit. The right of firearms owners to maintain their full right to privacy under the Fourth Amendment and their right to legally own firearms under the Second Amendment. They're talking about monitoring you in one sentence, and then they're coming down here saying, oh, your Fourth Amendment rights. How is it not against my Fourth Amendment rights that if I have a firearm and I'm walking through a mall and it is pinging these fixed devices, or if I just have a firearm on me and a police officer can walk by with a handheld monitoring device and see that I have a firearm? How is that not against my Fourth Amendment rights, you lying sacks? Maybe I shouldn't have stayed up this late after watching Safety Doc. And if you don't follow the Safety Doc, look him up. He's a smart dude. I just started following him not too long back. I think I got to him from John Crumb's channel. Excellent dude. Extremely smart. Let's see. Let's get into this. All right. The ability of law enforcement authorities to use the capability to track lost and stolen guns. Do you really think if there was technology built into these guns that was trackable that they would only use them for lost or stolen guns? If you do, you're an absolute moron. Just go ahead, go out back, go ahead and beat yourself completely into a bloody pulp because you're an idiot. It's about the nicest way I could say that. The ability of manufacturers to incorporate the capability using existing firearm manufacturing processes. So for doing a polymer frame, again, clear gun, see through the mag well, nothing in chamber. So, oops, turn the light on. So they're talking about putting something like an RF chip or something in a frame like this. Now, yes, manufacturers could do that. Do I think manufacturers should be required to do that? Hell no. Do I think it's technology that would be abused? Absolutely. And they want to force manufacturers to do this. And we'll see down here in just a minute. Let's see. Take into account the resistance to tampering and destruction of the technology used to incorporate the capability. Again, do you really think that a criminal's not just going to remove that from the gun? I mean, when you really look at the firearm itself, okay, there are a couple things that have to be there. You have to have the rails for your slide to ride on. You have to have the mag well, of course, for your mag to fit in. It has to be in alignment so that when your slide or bolt or whatever kind of firearm it is, when that moves forward, that it actually strips around from the magazine and pushes it into the chamber. I can change tons of different things about this frame without hurting the actual operation of the gun itself. So do you think criminals would not figure out a way to remove that device or mask that device the same way they could remove a serial number? The people who write these bills are absolute morons. Absolute. There's no question about it. Alright, so getting down into prohibition. It shall be unlawful for a person in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce. If you've watched any number of my videos, you know how much I'm really beginning to hate. Hate's too weak of a word, really. The interstate commerce clause, because that's where they base all their gun control. Because the federal government, this is one of your first videos, you have to realize the federal government has no power to regulate firearms. None. Zero. Zip. That's why they use the interstate commerce clause to base all their gun laws on. Okay, enter affecting interstate or foreign commerce to manufacture a firearm that does not have the passive identification capability that meets the national standard established under Section A. So all the way there at the top where they talk about the National Standards Institute. They're the ones who would set basically the rules for how something like this could be manufactured with this passive identification technology built into it. Civil penalty. After notice and opportunity for hearing, the Attorney General shall impose on a person who violates paragraph 1 a civil penalty in such amount not exceeding $2,500 per firearm. The way this is worded, this could go with manufacturers and with person-to-person sales, because it doesn't explicitly define that right there. So $2,500 per firearm as the Attorney General shall prescribe in regulations. Where was it? There's another place in here where it mentions it's up to a year in jail and a $2,500 fine per gun. So it may be, I may be looking at something else in this, but it's in here. Okay. This subsection shall take effect on such date as the Attorney General shall prescribe in regulations not less than 3 years, or not later than 3 years, after the establishment of the national standard under this subsection. So not later than 3 years. So the Attorney General could come back, and with Attorney General Garland, he could come back next week and say, well, yeah, we're doing this all in 2 months. No more firearms are going to be manufactured and sold in the United States to private citizens unless they have this technology. That's literally what could happen with this. All right. Reporting of lost or stolen firearms. So, and I didn't edit the code on this one because it just this is all in addition to the original code. So there was no reason to just go in and add this in. We've been over this so many freaking times. So this went into section 922, 18 USC, and added in section AA, which is the very bottom of section 922. This is adding in a whole new section of code. Within 48 hours after a person who owns a firearm that has been shipped or transported in or has been possessed in or affecting interstate or foreign commerce. How much more proof do people need? They discover or should have discovered, and they will be the ones who decide when you should have discovered the loss or the theft or loss of a firearm. The person shall report the theft or loss to local law enforcement agent or authorities to the best of the person's ability. The person shall provide the following. And again, they're going to decide the best of your ability for you. A description of the firearm, including the make, model, manufacturer, caliber, serial number of the firearm, and any other distinguishing number or identification mark on the firearm. Now, if it is a polymer 80, like this, I could give them the caliber, I could give them the fact that it is a P80, but I could not give them a serial number. I could tell them about the light, but any jackass out there can remove this light within seconds. I mean, all you got to do is loosen up the damn screw on the side of it, and the light is no longer an issue. So I could tell them it had a light on it, but that comes off that fast. I could tell them what slides on the gun, but that slide can be removed, and they could swap that for another slide. And if it wasn't a polymer 80 with no serial number, guess what? They're criminals. They're gonna remove the serial number. At least any smart criminals will, which we have a shortage of smart criminals, thank God, in the United States. Okay. Let's see. So you have 48 hours to report a lost or stolen firearm, and it is up to the government to decide when you should have known that firearm was missing. And for some people, maybe we're talking to people in the peanut gallery back here, there are a lot of us that have a lot of different firearms. I don't look at every one of my firearms every single day. I don't do a roll call on them. If someone broke in, it would be possible for someone to take a firearm from me and me not notice within 48 hours. I don't stand my guns up every single morning and count each one of them. I don't pet them every night and put them to bed. Regardless of what leftists might think, I don't sit here and pet this thing every single night, and then put him to bed on his own little pillow. This is a tool. This is a hammer. This is a screwdriver. And when you've got a big enough tool chest, you may not notice that something got misplaced. All right. Let's see. Then you got to report the date of the loss or theft, which again, they're going to decide when you should have known. So I tell them this gun was missing on, I noticed it was missing on the 18th. And they're going to say, well, could it have been missing on the 16th? And if I say yes, well, guess what? Yeah, daddy's getting in trouble. The person's name and address, the location from which the firearm was lost or stolen. Now, realize some of us travel with firearms that are in our vehicles. We may not leave them in our vehicles all the time, but it would be possible for someone to forget that that particular firearm was in their vehicle for a little while. I mean, it happens. People get busy. And I know that sounds kind of stupid, but it has happened to people. Does it happen to me? No, I pretty much know where my guns are at. If I'm traveling with one in a vehicle, I pretty much know. Could it happen to somebody? Yeah, it could. Getting into penalties. This is section 924. So 924 lays out the penalties for firearms offenses. Penalties for failure to report a loss or theft of a firearm. Whoever violates section 922A, which is that section we just went over up there, shall be fined $10,000, imprisoned not more than 1 year, or both, which it is going to be both, with respect to each firearm involved in the violation. So understand, if I have 2 firearms missing, that's 20 years and $20,000. If it's 3 firearms, well, you do the math on that. If it's 4, you do the math on that. They just keep stacking up those charges. But guess who these charges will affect? They won't affect the son of a bitch that stole your gun. They're going to affect the legal gun owner. And you idiots keep voting for these people. Alright, requirement that law enforcement authorities report lost or stolen firearms to the National Crime Information Center within 7 days. Okay, my dumb ass, I'm a personal gun owner. If I have my gun stolen, I have to realize that within 48 hours. Law enforcement gets 7 days. Y'all racking with me here? Y'all following? Y'all tracking? Again, they give themselves an out. They don't give you an out. Let's see. Within 7 days after local law enforcement authority receives a report that a firearm is lost or stolen, the authority shall transmit a report to the National Crime Information Center maintained by the Federal Bureau of Intimidation. So yeah, they get 7 days to do this stuff. You get 48 hours. And if you tell them, hey, I just noticed my gun was missing this Saturday, and they ask you when's the last time you seen it, and you go, well, I had it out last week. Well, guess what? You're in violation of section 922AA. That's $10,000 and up to a year in jail. That is your firearms rights go away, whole 9 yards. Nothing in here punishes the jackass that stole the gun. And there are cases where family members steal guns to do illegal shit. They realize you have a bunch of guns in your house. They realize that, hey, he won't miss this gun or that gun, and they take that gun to go do something with. You don't notice it. You look in your cabinet, you go through your guns, you start cleaning guns. You decide all of a sudden, hey, I want to take this gun out and I want to do a certain type of hunting with it, and all of a sudden that gun's gone. Or you just decide, hey, I'm going to be in a situation where I can't carry that full-size gun that I normally carry, so let me go get my subcompact. And all of a sudden your subcompact's not there because somebody stole it from you. When's the last time you saw it, Mr. Cooper? Well, I looked at it, 4 days ago. Could it have been missing then? Well, yes. Guess what? $10,000 and up to a year in jail. Firearms rights gone. They're going to completely break you financially. And you wonder why when I hear the iron pipeline thing, all I can think about is Joe Biden's crack pipes. You have to be smoking crack to get behind a bill like this. You have to be so uninformed, so irrational, so emotionally driven that you can't damn think straight to get behind bills like this. Alright, so that's the iron pipeline, kids. I'm out. Y'all be cool. I'm going to chill out for just a little bit longer, and then I'm headed to bed. Again, I blame Safety Doc for being up so long. Safety Doc, if you ever did follow me and watch this video, love you. And you guys start listening to Eric July. Go check out Bandcamp. Get his music, even though you can get it for free. At least throw him something for each song. Because the dude works really hard. If you're not following him on YouTube, follow him on YouTube. He's a hell of a dude. He's got a daily show. Dude is top, man. Y'all be cool. I'm out. Love you.